Hello YouTube, and this is that BMX guy, Ricardo. So, I got a package. It's a package from the RAGBRAI ride that I'm going to be doing. What's in this package is a question. It's going to be an short video, so I'll just unlock this guy. Let's see, plaid. Get this stuff out of the package. So we got the hat. This is a riding hat. Yeah, this is a riding hat. It has that green plaid they're doing for this year. There's no size to it, but we'll look at that in a second. We also bought a jersey. Also by Primal. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing this ride. So there's our unpackaged. We gotta look at it better. So yeah, you get the idea. It's just it's a different color. I think the other day I was at the RAGBRAI. Somebody's wearing the one with blue on it, like blue and white. But this is for 51. That's pretty nice. Not too bad. The jersey. Jersey is a basic riding jersey. Nothing fancy about it. I like wearing medium because it's kind of comfortable. Back of it. Yeah, I gotta be able to move things way here. Just to give you a general idea of what stuff looks like. I can't get it from the way. This is back pockets, stuff like that. Yeah, so we got jerseys and a shirt. I wanted a jersey. What's the bike I'm going to use? Well, the plan is actually, let me do this. The plan is to use the 125R touring bike, mainly because it has the dynamo on the front. So we got the dynamo on there with our headlight. We got the tail light back there. We're also going to use the sine wave revolution, and I'm going to just make what I'm going to do is I'll make a short wire that goes to the actual hub, and then right here I'll put like maybe some kind of like waterproof plug, and it's going to have a Y connection to go to the sine wave. That way I can take it off, put it back on and stuff. I want to keep the sine wave in the bag that goes on this, basically because I want to protect it from rain. I don't really want it out in the weather. It is an electronic device. These have some kind of like roof over them, just like this does, but this also has a plug that I'm gonna have the batteries plugging into this, maybe even the Garmin once in a while. Maybe some upgrades before I get to the ride anyway. Before doing the ride, I'm going to have fresh tires for this thing. So, these tires are still okay, but you can see if you look at them, they're kind of wearing pretty good. After like 5 or 6 years. I'm not even sure how long I had these tires. But with a couple of tours, or camping out trips, these tires actually seen at least 3 years of that. Other things about the bike. The only reason why I don't want to rent the bike is that everyone's going to be like on road bikes and stuff. And I'll be like the one guy on the touring bike. It's a 20-inch bike. I wanted to bring the standard basically because I'm going to basically where standard is at the end point. They're in Davenport, or around Davenport, Kansas City, or whatever it is. I'm not even really sure what the hell it is there. What does it say on the other? Yeah, Davenport is where that fork was made, but I think they moved across the river, so I'm not really sure where they live at the moment. But we're going to end in Burlington, which is, it shouldn't be that far down the river from it. So I just wanted to bring this bike because it's, you know, it was made in Iowa, or at least near it. But yeah, they say there's going to be like lots of grades this time, but are they grades like Pennsylvania? Probably not. So the 42 14 gearing is probably what I'm going to run. If anything, I'll run it harder. Now, if I was riding by myself, I guess I would run it even harder. But I'm going to be having, you know, a passenger, in a sense, that's going to be tagging along. So for the most part, I'll just leave it at the easier gearing, and that's it. So I'm going to have a new chain, new cog, all ready for that. As far as clipping in for the ride, I probably won't be doing that, so I don't have to bring like a couple sets of shoes. I mean, I'll probably be fine with like wearing sandals for like, you know, the city things, or town things, and then be clipped in for that, but I don't know. Is it worth it? No, it isn't. The bike hasn't really seen much upgrade since I last showed it. I mean, I put the titanium bars on it to get rid of a little bit of front end weight, but they barely do much of anything to get rid of the weight. The front rack and the rear rack basically add like 5 pounds to the bike. And then the tires, what I was thinking about is maybe not using the marathon tires for the trip. But if I'm going to be loaded with stuff, I'll use the marathons definitely. But if I'm not loaded, let's say I just bring it with the racks just to have the front bag, you know, just to hold food to get me by for the day. Because like I can carry my tent, I can carry the panniers, just to like make it a test ride for any other mini tour I want to do. Otherwise, if I use the titanium bike, I'd have to like make sure I always had, you know, the camping gear set to the concierge vehicle, or whatever they call it. So I don't really want to rely on that. But I do like the dynamo so I can recharge the phone, battery, you know, whatever I need to not have to use electricity. I want to see how I handle that for 1 full week versus just 3 days. Because like when we go camping at Zion, we don't have any way to charge anything. I actually just bring a battery that recharges the phone overnight twice. The lights don't have to be recharged in this case, so I don't have to worry about those. But the Garmin, that has to be recharged halfway through the day. So what might happen is I get a new one of those that has the solar charging to it. I can't think of the number. It's not the 1060, because the 1060 one is a little bit more expensive. It's like the one below that, maybe 860 or 560. It's one of those numbers. But it has a solar thing on it, so it doesn't have to be, you know, recharged at all, like by a battery or the wall or a power source, you know. It uses the sun. Otherwise, like, yeah, I gotta tune up the bike for the ride. I gotta give the car a tune up, meaning like I gotta change its oil, maybe check the tires and the brakes, because it's a long drive to Burlington, Iowa. It might be like 2 days, something like that. If I take a break somewhere halfway, just because like it's after work on Wednesday or something, when I head there, I already planned out this idea. Like if I leave Wednesday night after work, I can probably get there and before Friday, easily. But we had to get there Friday to meet somebody. Then we drive across the whole thing, and yeah, the drive there is going to be really what's to drag about. I'm not really into driving. I think riding a bike every day is more interesting than driving. Yeah, we're going to probably just use this. I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, why would you do that? But I'd like to point out that I've been wanting to do the RAGBRAI for years. There was a guy that was on BMX Museum, which I guess I could look at in a second. So here we are at the website, BMX Museum. So this guy, this weirdo, he was riding one of, I think this bike across the RAGBRAI, maybe even this one, for MS-150 rides. Yeah, so I was seeing that he was doing the RAGBRAI with a BMX, even though you can see that this bike has gears on it, which is cheating. I was hoping he was riding this or something like that, but no, I don't know. He might have started with the Motomag as an idea, and then he kept changing it for whatever reason. So, yeah, this guy kind of got me incentive to keep going with the whole touring bike situation. Because I did the MS150 on this in 2010. So I did the 100 on this bike. It didn't necessarily look like this completely. Like maybe it had a different seat that probably wasn't as soft as that seat. Meaning the seat I was using was not comfortable. It was some coalition seat. I don't think I was using these wheels either. I think I had the different wheel set on it. The bike that I was using after was this guy for a few years. I kept making the seat higher and higher, if you ever noticed. So a lot of people are always like, "Oh, your seat's not high enough." Well, maybe they might be right, but see where the seat is here. Well, I had this titanium seat post made for this bike. What happened is, like, I made it too short. I should have made it maybe, you know, if it had a max height here, it should have been, that much longer. So it would be like around here. Like every other bike kind of set up higher. But after getting this guy built, so I built this guy in 2013 and it changed throughout the years where the seat just kept getting higher and higher. Because, like, right about where it is right where it is now. So the only reason why it sucks is that this seems much longer because of the seat clamp being so close to the top tube. That's why every standard I had made with a longer seat tube and the titanium frame, the same thing. I had that have a longer seat tube also. Yeah, the bike was a sharp bike. That's the thing. Like the 125R, it's chrome, is sharp too, but I wasn't really expecting to, get a titanium frame made. So now it's got that frame just hanging out, doing nothing, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. So, but yeah, this bike was used for the MS150 from 2013 on to 2019. It wasn't used in 2020 because of COVID. Or put this way, it wasn't used in 2020 because I wasn't using it. I didn't even do the MS150 in 2020 and 21. Yeah, I just did it in 22 now and 23. This bike, this is the chrome one right there. So the chrome one, we're going to try to figure out what to do with it. The frame, anyway. Because we still have plenty of parts. I could just, like, make it have the 3-speed hub or something. I just don't know what to do with it. But with the bike we're using now, or usually, is this one, right? And I do want to use it for the RAGBRAI. The problem is that I'd have to put the dynamo on it. At least so I can use the sine wave. Maybe put the front little mini rack for the bag, or just use a bag. Just hang off the handlebar. I hear it rains randomly in those 6 or 7 days. And the roads might be wet. So I think the fenders on the bike here now are much better because of that. Meaning I'd rather have fenders on. Especially like to ride the lightest bike I can possibly use. I'd rather use the bike that is more practical. Does that make sense? But I could put the dynamo on there. I mean, I got plenty of dynamo wheels. If I use these tires, they're not going to feel any resistance. So it should be fine. I mean, it ain't going to ride bad. The other 125R, oh, it is set up as a rack bike here. But yeah, with all the bags and stuff on it that you see in this picture, I think we're at like 45 pounds right there. So I don't really want to use this big Swift bag. I kind of want to use that smaller bag that's only this high. Like the clip. It's only that high. It also acts like, if you ever look at a cab over, let's say a Kenworth K100, it's like a big air dam for the most part on the front of the bike. It's just, if there's wind, it's just going to be acting as a sail pushing against me. So the only reason I don't like using that bag is because it's like a sail or an air dam that way. If I use the catalyst, which is round, I don't necessarily need the rack. I just hang it off the handlebar. It's kind of like basically the same as this tent, just on the handlebar. I can probably get away with that, and just maybe have the panniers in case, you know, I want to carry other stuff like jackets. That's the thing, like, you don't know how the water's gonna be there. So, but yeah, the whole reason they even carry or have the bike with the racks and fenders is that I can carry stuff that I may need. Even with the concerts, maybe he won't be there, and I need the raincoat. I gotta just pull right out of the bike. It gets cold all of a sudden, there's wind. Boom, I get a hoodie out. All that stuff will just be in the pannier. Yeah, so this bike is just going to be more ideal for the trip, that's all. So, this bike's what, 26 pounds without the racks or bags. I mean, without the bags on the racks. So 26 pounds is 10 pounds heavier than the other one. That's all. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. The RAGBRAI is July 20th to the 27th, I believe. And for me, it's going to be kind of like a 10-day trip. At least 10 days. Maybe 13 days. Whatever the case, we're going to be in that. I'm going to try and make video footage of every day. It's going to be quiet footage with no music because I just don't want it to be too happy. I want it to be like a vlog for the most part. I don't know. I'm going to probably get people saying, oh, you're doing all this over and over again the whole time. You want to know what's interesting? This isn't a unicycle. The unicycle, that looks hard. Even the street strider thing where you're doing rowing, that looks kind of hard to do. I see people doing them on the MS-150, and people saying this is not going to make it. They're just not understanding the other stuff going on in that thing. There's people riding the recumbents, which actually are pretty cool. I mean, I kind of want one, especially the one with like the big cigar aerodynamic cover over it. You know, looks like a rolling cigar. But, you know, they're expensive. They make these look cheap, like the titanium frames and stuff. But yeah, that's what I'm going to use. And it's going to, I don't know if it's going to look like that. It might not have all the bags. But let's say it's going to have these, or at least one of these. So I can carry my jackets. And then this will just have food, others, drinks. Or I'll just keep stuff and drinks in there. I usually use this drink holder, right? And there's a drink holder I can put here or here. But for the most part, like, that's what this is used for. It might be used for cooking gear and stuff. So, yeah. We'll get to that. As we get closer to the RAGBRAI, we'll talk about what's going on. Otherwise, this is That BMX Guy, and thanks for watching, and we got plenty of other content coming.